going on, everyone? In light of Avengers Infinity War coming out just a few weeks ago, it is finally time for me to rank all of the MCU superheroes. When I say all of the MCU superheroes, though, I mean the main title superheroes, the ones that we have all known and loved over the years. So that means there are some characters I decided to leave off this list. A few of them I had no clue whether or not they really needed to be on this list. I didn't know if they fit, and those characters were Nebula, Yondu, Nick Fury, and Valkyrie. One other reminder before we start, I decided to group all of the Guardians of the Galaxy into one number. There are 5 of them, so I felt it was easier for myself to just place them in one number. It makes sense. They are all pretty similar in characterization. They're all really funny, so there you go. It also just dawned on my mind that today is the 2-year anniversary of the SvenSulley YouTube channel. I just want to thank you all so much for those who have subscribed and have been watching my videos over the last 2 years. I have been doing my absolute best to try and put the greatest content out there for you guys on a weekly basis. Believe me, I will continue doing YouTube for as long as I possibly can, and there is more great things to come. So get ready for plenty of more SvenSulley over the next couple of years. So without further ado, let's get started with number 17. This one was a no-brainer. At number 17, it is Quicksilver. What did they do with this character? There was no reason for him to be here. All he did was at first be a bad guy with Ultron and then become an Avenger and then die. Really, all there is to his character is his friendship with his sister, Scarlet Witch, who I'll get to in a second, but there really was no reason to have Quicksilver in this film or in the MCU as a whole. A complete waste of time. I love Aaron Taylor-Johnson, but there was no reason for this character. Number 16. Like brother, like sister, Scarlet Witch is up next. I love Elizabeth Olsen. I think she is one of the most beautiful women in Hollywood today, or even the world. She is so gorgeous. But this character, Scarlet Witch, what is her deal? There is no reason for her to really exist if we think about it. All she has to her character is the love interest with Vision, which I always thought was tacked on. Other than that, yeah, sure, she has cool powers. She is very strong, but I don't really see anything else with her character except for the relationship with Vision. Number 15. It makes complete sense to have it go Quicksilver, then Scarlet Witch, and of course, next up is Vision, a character that is one of the most powerful in the MCU. Yes, I completely agree. He is a very cool character, one with an Infinity Stone inside of his head. But what else does this character hold other than just being Tony Stark's AI? He is basically the Siri of the MCU. He does have the relationship with Scarlet Witch, which I don't really care about at all. He tries to be funny, but his humor just provides a couple of chuckles here and there. It isn't too great. His character is only really in the MCU just so they can progress the storyline of the Avengers. Number 14. Talk about useless backstories that we have no idea about. Hawkeye is here at 14. A character that's been around since the first Avengers movie. He is one of the original 6. I only like him because, well, yes, Jeremy Renner, but also he has the bow and arrow, which I've always been someone who's a fan of that weaponry. But really, Hawkeye, what is there about him that's so interesting? Well, he's pretty bland, I will say that. There really isn't much else. He does have a secret family, but what do we have that will make us care about Hawkeye? Number 13. Iron Man always needs somebody to hold him down. Yes, right here we have War Machine, who was played by 2 different actors. At first, it was played by Terrence Howard, and then they replaced him in Iron Man 2 and 3 with Don Cheadle. Now, I like War Machine because his friendship with Iron Man is so great. It's very humorous. A lot of great back and forth banter between the two. So that's always been a lot of fun. His character overall, it's not bad. It's pretty enjoyable. But overall, there really isn't much else past his friendship with Tony Stark. That's really the only reason why he exists inside the MCU. but he's still a pretty fun character. I always liked War Machine. Nothing against him. Number 12. At 12, it is Black Widow. She is one of the characters that is actually able to shine despite not having her own movie yet. And that's because she's always made a name for herself in these other superhero movies, such as The Winter Soldier. She stood out in that movie as one of the best aspects, and I love Scarlett Johansson as this character. We do know a couple of things about her backstory, so that gives us reasons to care about her, but it's not really just about that. It's about her relationship with these other characters and how she's able to grow off of the other characters in the MCU. She does add a lot with her skills and how she's able to kick the heck out of everybody else in the MCU, so it's pretty cool. I do think she's one of the better characters inside of this universe. Number 11. Now we are getting into the characters that have their own single movie. At number 11, it is Black Panther, the King of Wakanda. Yes, he is played by Chadwick Boseman, and in Black Panther, I think it's a pretty enjoyable movie, though Chadwick Boseman, with this character overall, I think he could have given a little bit more charisma. He didn't really have it there. Had he added more of that into the film, it would have invigorated this character more, given it more energy. But nonetheless, I've always loved the suit that Black Panther wears. His powers and skills are super white knuckle, a very gritty character, knows how to catch a fight. So there's a lot of reasons to love Black Panther. And it's nothing against Chadwick Boseman, but I do feel the character is a bit bland at times, but he's still pretty awesome. Number 10. We've reached the top 10. Here at this spot, it is Doctor Strange. One of the characters that comes off as extremely cocky in the beginning, all about himself. He was a doctor, but then no longer is able to do that after he gets in an accident, but then soon discovers other dimensions and becomes a wizard through becoming Doctor Strange, of course. So I really did think the character arc with Doctor Strange was always very well done. I do like Benedict Cumberbatch. He has a lot from his performance that makes me love the character even more. I'm not sure if we'll ever be given a Doctor Strange 2, but he is a very important and integral character to this whole MCU. A lot of what happens in these films, especially the Avengers movies now, is on his shoulders. He means a lot. Number 9. This guy has been getting funnier and funnier every single time. It is the Hulk here at this spot. We know he was originally played by Edward Norton and then replaced by Mark Ruffalo, who has done a great job. He is such a quirky character. We know he can make everyone laugh, as we saw in Thor Ragnarok and now Avengers Infinity War. Mark Ruffalo has done so much with this character that's great. It's been nice to see that the Hulk, besides the fact that he is so overpowered and being this giant green monster, that he is more humanized now because he's not the strongest being in the universe. Somebody else can beat him up now, like Thanos, so that's awesome to see. I do always enjoy watching the Hulk on screen tear apart everything in his path. It's definitely made a lot of great moments in the MCU. The Hulk is a character you cannot make an Avengers movie without. Number 8. This character has switched sides so many times that I can't even keep track anymore. Here at number 8, it is Bucky Barnes. We know he used to be great friends with Captain America in the first Avenger movie, and then we thought he died. He fell to his death, but no, he was actually captured by Hydra and turned into the Winter Soldier, an assassin on a mission to kill all of the MCU superheroes. So this is a character that I do really enjoy watching on the screen. His friendship with Captain America has grown so much, especially in Civil War. The character arcs for this character were so crazy. I never would have seen this coming. The friendship between Captain America and Bucky is what holds this character together. There is an interesting dynamic going on between the two. The only thing I didn't really like about his character was that they kind of brushed over him in Avengers Infinity War. He didn't get to do too much, so that was disappointing, but Bucky Barnes is a very likable character. Number 7. Taking the 7th spot on this list is Falcon. This is a character that I think is just a very nice guy in general. He doesn't have the best character ever, but him as a person is so nice. He's a guy that I could grab a drink with at the bar and talk for hours. He is such a cool guy, very laid back, chill. We do know a little bit about his backstory, which is very interesting. And I've always just found him to be extremely likable. One of the most likable characters inside the MCU. Number 6. Talk about characters and goofballs. At number 6, it is Ant-Man, who is played by Paul Rudd. Paul Rudd is known for being in comedy movies, and when he was introduced inside of the MCU, you automatically loved him. He is so funny, very charismatic, always has a lot of jokes in the back of his head, knows how to make you laugh 24/7. He's a guy that you root for because he isn't really a superhero. And it's especially funny because his superpower is shrinking, which makes all the sense in the world for somebody like Paul Rudd. That would be his superpower. Paul Rudd as his character has always been fantastic. And I love the Ant-Man character. I cannot wait for Ant-Man and the Wasp in July. Number 5. This is a character I have loved ever since I was a little kid. That's right, folks. At 5, it is Spider-Man, who is now played by Tom Holland, the superhero that is probably the most relatable to myself. He is, in fact, a kid in high school, as we saw in Spider-Man Homecoming, so he deals with a lot of that drama going on there, but he also has to protect New York City from villains like Vulture. So this is a character that I've always loved as a kid, and even to this day, he will never be somebody that I ever grow away from. The character of Spider-Man is someone we've seen on the big screen since 2002, and now it's the year 2018, and we still love him despite being played by 3 different actors. How crazy is that? Number 4. Top 4 time, baby. At number 4, of course, it is Tony Stark / Iron Man. This is a guy that we know has a character arc. At first, he was very cocky, all about himself, a very ignorant guy, but later is humbled after he becomes Iron Man and uses his power for good to protect the world. He is also a character that is witty, always knows how to make you laugh, even after every single sentence delivered from another character. He knows how to jump right off of that sentence and make you laugh right away, which is a great part about Tony Stark. Plus, Robert Downey Jr. has basically become Tony Stark in person. Who else in the MCU or in superhero movies in general can you say does that? Nobody else. Robert Downey Jr. was meant to play the character of Tony Stark, and he has done it so brilliantly. They have fine-tuned this character so well, and I will always love Iron Man. Not to mention that I would always say Iron Man is the best part of the Iron Man movies. I've never been the biggest fan of those films, so Tony Stark has always been the one to get me interested automatically in those movies. Number 3. Next up is a character that's been kind of all over the place in terms of his trilogy. That is Thor. We know he has 3 movies now, and by Ragnarok, it was all a comedy. He was very funny in the film. So this character has jumped all over the place in terms of characterization, which is fine because when you put it all into one character, it makes for a very interesting on-screen presence. His brotherly dynamic with Loki grew all the way from Thor in 2011 to Avengers Infinity War this year. We have seen this character do so much over the years. And I've truly had a blast with Thor as a character. He is one of the most likable guys inside the MCU. Very jolly, a guy that's always happy, and someone that you would love to be friends with in person. Number 2. At the second spot on this list, it is Captain America himself, the guy that is the epitome of an underdog. He was very small. Everyone told him he can't do it, he's not big enough, he's not strong enough to join the army, but he did it, and now look at him. He is the leader of the Avengers. You cannot root against this character on this screen. He is one of the most amazing guys inside of this universe. He has built it to what it is today. This universe would be nothing without Captain America. Plus, he also has one of the greatest superhero movies of all time, that is The Winter Soldier. So Captain America has a lot to offer, and I will always enjoy watching his movies and himself on the screen as a character. Number 1. But of course, here at the number 1 spot, I told you guys at the beginning, I grouped these people all into one. I had to do it, but at number 1, it is the Guardians of the Galaxy. These 5 characters are so impactful on who I am as a person to this day. They are hilarious. Each and every single one of them, they all work off of each other so well. There is not one character that does not stand out of the 5. Groot and Rocket, those two on the screen are terrific together. Their movie would not be anything without those characters. They provide so much of the humor. And then you have Drax the Destroyer, played by Dave Bautista, who is hilarious. This guy knows how to make you laugh so many times. He could do it over and over again, probably 1,000 times within the span of an hour. Drax the Destroyer is a great character. Star-Lord and Gamora, those two together as a couple, it's really good, even though Gamora doesn't really like him as much as Star-Lord likes her. So that's kind of funny, but those two also as characters provide a lot of laughs, especially Star-Lord, him being a human inside of space. It's great to see him a part of this gang. Gamora is really the only one I never really got onto, but at the same time, she still needs to be a part of this Guardians of the Galaxy squad, or else it would feel out of place. So all 5 of these characters I have always loved. They are so humorous, really know how to make you laugh, but their characterizations are also really good, especially Star-Lord. If I had to pick my 2 favorite, it would probably be both Star-Lord and Rocket. Those two are just terrific on the screen. Plus Drax, you really can't go wrong with any of those 3. The Guardians of the Galaxy are terrific characters. I love each and every one of them so much, and I'm so excited for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 in a couple of years. So there you have it, guys. Those are my rankings for all of the superheroes inside of the MCU. Let me know down below in the comment section, guys, what your list is. And of course, it would only make sense for my next video to be my rankings of the MCU villains. So get ready for that video coming up within the next couple of days. If you are new to my channel, click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.